Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take another look here at SUI, see what's going on, double checking this coin. Back in the sub $5 range, right close, basically hovering right at its previous all-time high. Keep in mind I have this here but just because that was an established high for a while. A lot of times you see price gravitate towards that, kind of averaging itself out before the price takes off. So this is kind of standard and normal stuff. The thing we want to pay attention to is that we don't drop below 490 as a close approximate, because that is the local low there and or previous high. Losing that would be a potentially disastrous. There is also, if I just kind of quickly look at this here, we have potential for a head and shoulders pattern, so keep in mind that may be a play out as well. All depends on Bitcoin for the most part, but the crazy thing is Bitcoin's pulling back and going sideways, SUI is pulling back and pulling back. So we got to recognize that it's inversely paired right now, but it has a tendency of doing this because a lot of profits are being taken. It's a very, very standard thing in this coin, and this coin will be the first front runner likely to take off when Bitcoin is stabilized long enough and the market's ready. But for right now, with it pulling back, it's generally a sign not to really take a long, or if you do insist on taking a long, 490, 487, somewhere in that range, seems like an appropriate range to consider. But again, we lost our ascending trend line, and we're looking pretty poor on the hourly time frame. Generally, you don't take longs into that, so just kind of throwing it out there. Liquidation ranges are pretty standard. Nothing really to see here. Again, we got that 520 to 580 range, and of course the low $4 range. But for the most part, there's really not much to note, except that we are technically closer to the higher liquidation, therefore implying that the macro is still looking pretty bullish, I would say. More inclination to see the price action go higher, just overall. We have more people taking longs than shorts right now, which seems kind of weird with the price action pulling back, but it's standard for this coin. And then of course we take a look at open interest. Most people are heavy at this 527 mark from before. So as I mentioned, try not to be a late long. Those folks are still underwater, and a lot of times the price action will retest those ranges and turn around, which it did already. So bummer if you got in at that level. But obviously, if you were watching my videos, you'll realize that that would have been a bad idea. Taking a look here at the daily time frame, we can recognize here this is still very, very much a constellation, but also very positive, a more impactful constellation because of how awesome the market is with SUI rather. I misspoke. The market is not awesome. It's actually pretty terrible this week. It's been a very been difficult to find good opportunities, but this coin keeps providing them, right? Having said that, though, it's pulling back aggressively today, more so than the rest of coins, but we're still very bullish on the macro. So the whole point of me telling you this is that you don't need to worry about the correction here. It's pretty standard. It's pretty normal. We could even come down as low as 460 and still be okay. All right. So that's roughly where the 20-day SMA is at. We want to remain above that. We want to stay over 50 on the RSI, which we are. These are all just things to kind of pay attention to for the moment here. Still bullish on the macro. There's no reason to run for the hills, so to speak, even though there's some pretty significant divergence here on the 4-hour. Taking a look at TD sequential, we can see we're at a 3. We've got roughly 24 hours of continuation of the downside left before we reach an overextended state. If we took a look here, of course, at the RSIs, we can recognize we're right at 50. So losing this 490 range for SUI is kind of a big deal. If we were to lose that, we could very well see this lower support range retested. This area in green is that support range, so just keep in mind we got a lot of support between 470 and 490 if we do end up re-entering that level. Hourly time frame, let's quickly confirm this here. I haven't looked at this yet, and I'm very curious where we're at. We got the conversion line below the baseline. Lag and span is almost free and clear of the downside, and we're traveling within the cloud. So there's like two stark obvious indications letting us know that taking a long position right now is a bad idea. Furthermore, taking a short is also a bad idea because we don't have confirmation we've broken below the support at 487 or 490 roughly. Because again, you generally want to be confirming below the cloud for at least 3 to 4 hours before you consider taking a trade in that direction. Okay? I would never recommend a trade in that direction, truthfully. This coin is a terrible coin to short because it instantly recovers. I mean, look at this here. Every time people try to short, you just get blasted in the face. It's like super consistent. It continues to just, shoot up high and fast. So you're statistically more probable to find a lot more success taking longs with this coin. But right now, based on that analysis, it doesn't tell us that there's a good confirming time frame, or rather, the smaller time frames are not confirming any type of reason to take a long position. You could take a long at support at 490 and maybe find some success, but once again, that's a flippable coin. Do you really like to flip coins and have success? A gambler will say yes. I would say no, because I like to be the house in this case. I like to have that higher chance of success, and by taking a trade right now, you're limiting your odds of success. However, if you take a long, you're still statistically more probable to find success too. I hope that makes sense. It pretty much always comes with a grain of salt in this coin here. You always have to preface and say, hey, this coin is a terrible coin to short. If you're going to do anything, take a long, you'll probably find some success there. The truth here is it all boils down to your risk tolerance. People that have difficulty with this coin are those who use high leverage and they get stopped out or liquidated. I haven't been liquidated in years, been trading for over 20 years, and I can tell you in that experience, low leverage is king, and recommend low position size too. So if you're ever unsure, at the very least, make sure you use low leverage, and if you're going to insist on a higher risk trade, a slightly larger amount per trade. But I never recommend that either, especially in situations like this. So this is a situation where I'd much rather you don't take a trade at all, but if you're going to insist on one, slightly more favorability to the upside here, okay? So I'll post a playout chart on the Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. Just know we've lost our short-term trend line. This is not necessarily something you want to take a long into. I don't necessarily recommend it, but big picture, we could be in kind of a wider range of a bullish rectangle pattern, and the price could break up here. So again, there's still a larger success of consideration of going long versus short. So okay, I guess I've said that like 15 different ways. Anyways, I hope you made I made sense of this. I hope you learned something today. You want to become a better trader? Again, I've got a trading academy, community, and signals group. While the amount of signals we're sending lately has been less because the market is trash, for the most part, the success rate there is pretty good. But you just got to make sure to use your own risk tolerance. At the end of the day, these are your trades, not mine, right? So make sure you take ownership. That's the best way to learn as a trader. Make sure too, also, you read through our signals guide so you know how to structure your trades effectively if you're planning to consider my trades. And then also, of course, trade alerts too. I give you some good insight on coins I'm planning to take trades with. It's all there. All right, folks, have a good rest of your day. I look forward to seeing the next one. Take care.